Welcome back to the Overwatch League Playoffs 2022. I'm still joined by Rose to get into our second game of day number 2. It is the Florida Mayhem versus the Seoul Dynasty.
It is, and I know that my pred looked a little weird.
Please defend it right now, on camera.
All right, one, I just wanted to play contrarian to everybody else because Seoul's going to get all the love in the world. Yeah. I actually predicted that Seoul's going to win the whole thing, so I stand by that, but I do think that maybe they'll have to go through the lower bracket because Florida Mayhem have looked good. I think they have some surprise factor. There are very few teams that wanted or had the opportunity to scrim them. They still were able to get an upset yesterday. Yeah. Someone has looked really good, and I think that his Winston has just evolved over the course of the season so that he isn't afraid to take these duels versus Reapers. And I think that's something that we have seen a little bit of hesitation from some of our Winstons so far in the playoffs. So that's where my pick comes through. Okay,
I like that, like a little Seoul Dynasty lower bracket run. The winner from this game, Rose, actually plays Dallas Fuel. So pretty tough game, you'd imagine. The entirety of the pick'ems and the desk went the Seoul Dynasty, but honestly, at this point, we're used to upsets, so yeah, you know.
Hey, nobody wanted to pick Mayhem. Nobody picked Mayhem. Seoul got stuck with Mayhem.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that says something.
Yeah, exactly. That does say something at least. I like what they brought up on this on the desk as well, like Summer versus Smurf, 2-time champ. Like a lot of Smurf heads out there looking him to get the MVP of the 2022 season versus someone who's a rookie, and he's aggressive Winston play has really found a lot of success for the Florida Mayhem. And they're a team as well with a bunch of people that came in late into the season. They've had an incredible run with people like Sermajet and RuPaul. Their backline has looked incredibly solid. I think it's about time we bring them up on stage. Of course, these two teams haven't played each other in like eons, it feels like. So let's bring to the stage the Florida Mayhem. Is leading the charge. Of course, Sermajet, tall lad, I will say. Taller than I expected, although it's a bit hard to tell people's heights when you're obviously casting from home whenever he's in their facilities. Animo for Lucio, of course, and their backline looks very solid from meta to meta. They have Animo, another veteran player, in that support lineup, swapping in and out with RuPaul when needed.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see RuPaul much more for the playoffs, or at least not for a bit. If you didn't notice, yesterday RuPaul started in the lineup, got taken out, and confirmed later that that might have been a roster mistake. That was his first time playing Kiriko ever. That's another reason why I give a little bit more credit to the Mayhem, because yeah, they still won. They still won that map, even though RuPaul was not as comfortable on that Kiriko as Sermajet has been.
Yeah, maybe they're not their full power yet, but some team has been at full power for the majority of the season. Let's bring to the stage the Seoul Dynasty. Man, clean colors as always too. The black, white, and gold, looking suave.
What a powerhouse.
Seats. Yeah, absolute powerhouse. The team is scary. Like Prophet. Okay, we don't really need to talk about Prophet because he's a beast. Like Smurf too, MVP level contention. Their backline also looking great. A lot of rookie talent in the league this year, but sometimes you just gotta look at the veterans. Prophet, Smurf to do the damage, do the reps and the heavy lifting for the team. And Seoul Dynasty have that in spades. Fitz too has just been an absolute powerhouse.
You got to look at Iris as well, a newer addition to the Seoul Dynasty roster. Actually got traded to the team from the Houston Outlaws, and so seeing Iris come in and just slot in so perfectly next to Vindane, it's been such a treat to watch. And so both of these teams, I'm just expecting a really, really good match.
I mean, a lot of people were saying that Iris trade with Creative was one of the most beneficial for both teams.
Yes, mutually beneficial.
All time, yeah, which is ridiculous. Like you said, slotted in super well, really fast, and just got going. Hit the ground running. It was really good to see the Seoul Dynasty and the Florida Mayhem. I mean, you've still got to be fairly scared of Seoul when it comes down to it. Yes, they didn't get their pick, Rose, but they're still the Seoul Dynasty. Like,
well, yeah.
The name value in of itself is rather scary. Now, how do they perform on this meta? That's the big question coming into it. But having Smurf leading the charge, like a lot of the Smurf heads out there, they're going to be rather pleased, I think, when the meta kind of shifted towards this Kiriko and the Winston, because they know they've got all of the tools really required. I mean, even Prophet, do complete anything you put him on, but then Fitz also a cracked hit scan. What can't Seoul Dynasty play?
I mean, you know, despite the fact that Smurf hasn't really been able to play to his full power on the Winston, Seoul Dynasty have still come out on top. They won a stage tournament this season. Smurf, Roll Star for tank. Like, there's a lot going for Seoul Dynasty, and it's why they are considered one of the favorites for this tournament. They just need to, you know, let's see what they got here. This is the first time we get to see what they can bring to the table for playoffs. Yeah,
Ilios is going to be our first map. Yeah, no RuPaul, so Summerjet starting. Hey, and like I said before, it still worked out regardless of who's in the roster, which is rather Chad, honestly, for the backroom stuff. Oh, we were late to do the rosters, whatever.
They were full in Korean barbecue, is really exactly what they said.
Whatever. He can play it. We know we'll win. Easy game. Like I said, they did end up winning that map, so good stuff. All right, we're going on to Well as our first point. Definitely a map where you can cheese, and I'm expecting some teams, especially in the upper bracket, to cheese a little bit here and there. Of course, we've only seen Houston flex the big guns, playing like Roadhog and whatnot. We'll see if Florida Mayhem or Seoul Dynasty end up doing that. I mean, Florida, to be fair, Rose, they're the team to cheese if it's any team in the playoffs right now.
Well, that was what was really impressive about the Junker Queen meta from Florida Mayhem, when everybody was playing the standard Junker Queen with the Lucio. It was Florida that decided to bring out something special, which was that double flex support with the Zenyatta in the Ana. So that was really neat to see, but it's going to be just meta right now for both of these teams as they meet in the middle.
Alrighty. How do Seoul and Mayhem fight around this center point? Of course, got to be careful of the boots. Alright, Railgun charge for Hydron. I love the perfect positioning here. If you just put Hydron on a straightaway like this, it's so hard for Seoul Dynasty to really dive him. A lot of corridors to jump around to. You can see him perfectly navigating around the Seoul Dynasty right now, as the point does unlock. And Iris, first to fall.
That was just lined up there perfectly. Wall climb there from Iris. Hydron just says that's just a pick. So should be a really quick point capture here for Florida as we see Seoul Dynasty make a getaway.
Yeah, the easy cap for Florida. I guess we probably should have done at the start of the show there. Talk about Hydron just a little bit, but...
Yeah, I left that one so we had something to talk about during the game, because that is another factor.
Yeah, true. You don't want to blow through all your material straight away, you know? Smart from you, honestly. Smart from you. All right, Hydron still holding this off angle. Pretty nice. Of course, Summerjet can jump to it too if he's really in trouble. We'll see how Fitz, to be fair, he's someone, look at that. Instantly diving on top of Hydron to try and protect him, but not enough protection can save him from Profit. A couple of Hellfire shotgun blasts to the face. Checkmate also going pretty low. Forced to use that Wraith Walk. Fitz taken down pretty low, in fact. It forced Iris and Vindime to kind of retreat, giving Florida Mayhem a little bit of space and time to move, but with Animo going down, Florida Mayhem forcing themselves to try and win this fight. Kitsuna rush for both teams, including the sound barrier from the Seoul Dynasty. With Animo dead, no chance to build up to a sound barrier of their own, but the Florida Mayhem is still holding on. 50% from that first cap.
And that's going to feel really good too, knowing that they did get both support ultimates out of Seoul. So when you go back in with Checkmate having the Death Blossom ready to go, Hydron has an overclock. This is a lot of power that Florida Mayhem can pack. And there's not really a good answer to it. And Fitz is just dead. Oh my gosh, the overclock for Seoul Dynasty's off the board now.
There's overclock. Oh, I mean, Iris did not stand a single chance there. I mean, Smurf taking a few headshots of his own. Takes care of Hydron. Looks a little bit rattled in the... What was that? Profit managed to get 2 kills off camera. A Smurf juggled Hydron. They're not done yet. Someone also falls. Florida Mayhem with the perfect pick to start off the fight. And so Dynasty, that veteran talent coming in, Profit knew that fight wasn't over until he said something about it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just Profit for you. You know, if you're unfamiliar with the Overwatch League, Profit has been one of the best DPS.
The GOAT.
Like
literally the
GOAT. And that's why, like, Seoul Dynasty is such a favorite. Keep an eye out on Profit's Reaper.
Right there. Overclock gonna struggle getting anything done. Oh, Checkmate receives a Suzu too to keep him alive in that fight. Vid still managed to kill off Checkmate and Animo somehow, now dueling out with Hydron on the point. Seoul Dynasty, all the meanwhile, are controlling as Fitz finds 4 kills. 69% of building. Seoul Dynasty looking great. Florida Mayhem need to come back.
Vindame has a boop here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh no!
Still gotta be careful. Even with knockback protection from on the tank roll now, the tank passive, you still gotta be careful. You're so close to that well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not having your jump on cooldown either, that's devastating here. But final fight territory here for Seoul, and they have the sound barrier and also the Kitsune rush to back it up.
So what mental here from the Seoul Dynasty. They're gonna use that beat. Everybody getting over health, and the Suzu from Surmajed used super early on in that fight. Surma's dead, Hydron dead, Fitz with the easiest kill of his life. Checkmate falling, and so do the rest of the Florida Mayhem. That Kitsune rush should see them ending this round 99% to 50. GR. Seoul Dynasty take round 1.
Really clean round from Seoul Dynasty as well. You know, the first few, Hydron able to get an initial pick, and that's what we've come to expect from the Florida Mayhem, especially when you can see that Sojourn pick come out from Hydron. But Seoul, that's just clinical gameplay from them to be able to cycle through Prophet and Smurf in the front line. Iris is just such a proficient flex support that seeing this Kiriko in his hands has been so fun too.
Yes, it has. Wow. Can't count them out even if it's 4v5. Normally these rounds and this kind of meta, very much based on the tempo. If you find that first pick, especially on a DPS, it's kind of hard to come back. Seoul Dynasty proving it's not that difficult as long as you have the mental to back it up.
And the DPS picks of your own.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. High ground control rather important here for Fitz or Hydron. Super easy to get on top of it with that power slide. It's whether someone can actually bully Fitz off the high ground, which looks rather unlikely. An early railgun shot there from Fitz does end up taking down Checkmate. And you can see now the high ground taking the control. Well, the Florida Mayhem point is going to get unlocked, but with Prophet and Vindame dead, should be a very easy point cap.
Yeah, again, this is, you know, Hydron's specialty, just kind of playing at range, and when you see that the focus is away from Hydron, he gets a lot of free real estate to work with here. Just gonna get set up here as Florida start to look at taking this height away from Seoul. As on the income, look at that, Vindame Fitz already at half health. They've gotta back off a little bit and wait to be topped up before they move in.
There's a railgun shot there by someone who's got a railgun of his own. Smurf, he's got a railgun of his own, that Tesla cannon. Little hit scan projectile. Focus fire onto someone, retreats to the high ground as the Kitsune rush comes out. Someone peeks his head in, wonder what was going on, but met his demise rather sharp. Seoul Dynasty are going to take control of the point with Checkmate resetting off of the map. And this is where Florida Mayhem had trouble last time. Nice aim there by Smurf, then the right click on the way out there onto Animo. Florida Mayhem unable to cap again in their first round. We'll see if the same thing happens here.
Well, the biggest thing too about this push is that Iris just used the Kitsune rush and that's it. But okay, maybe have to rely on the sound barrier, the primal rage here. Seoul really just trying to play to keep hold of point right now as long as they can.
Nice Kitsune rush positioning there from Surmajed. They know they have to push onto that point as Surmajed claims his second victim of this fight with those deadly kunais. Maybe even a third one too. Nice Suzu to keep himself up. Smurf dead. Seoul Dynasty unable to regain control of that point. Surmajed's aim looking clean.
Looking really good right now. I mean, he's still focusing on a lot of damage here. Iris is going to outpace on the Kitsune rush just a tad. But the fact that Florida Mayhem were able to retake the point, going to match the percentage and then some of Seoul with 4 ultimates to spare, you're feeling really good right now. Being able to set the pace with your own ults.
Look at that, he's going to follow Prophet. Oh, he does end up getting the beat. In fact, beats traded across the board for Flora and Seoul. Checkmate erased. Oh, and Hydron takes it to Fitz. This ends right here, right now. Hydron now just pushing on forward. As long as he controls the high ground, they should be good. A lot of ultimates invested by the Florida Mayhem as Prophet tries to make it even. And with a kill onto Surmajed, this might be in the favor of Seoul Dynasty now. Prophet's full HP just blasting on the point. Ooh, boy. That was a perfect start from the Florida Mayhem, taking down Fitz with the headshot from Hydron, but they weren't able to kind of capitalize on it. Soul's Dynasty's ability to stick in these fights, even when the player down, is unreal.
Well, this was even after Hydron actually tried to draw Eris' focus away. He isolated him into a building, and so it was really just on Vindame to try to get that healing on the board. But let's see what this Death Blossom can do from Checkmate.
Oh, see it. Yeah, but no. Don't want any of this. Continuing rush from Eris. It's going to make it last fight, you can imagine. 75% on the board. TP from Prophet. He's doing something cheeky. Do they know where he is? Maybe not. Maybe not, though. Somagen taking a hell of damage. Has to use the Suzu, but puts down the Kitsune Rush, so we have another Suzu in just a second. Checkmate baiting them in, trying to at least profit a face full of lead. The Seoul Dynasty still control the point, however, but with members falling rather swiftly, the Florida Mayhem are going to be able to regain control. 95% is all that they garner. Now Seoul have to attack one last time with only a primal.
Yeah, you talked about how the Suzu is going to be coming back online, and it came up at a perfect time to be able to give that over to Checkmate and make him invincible to finish that Death Blossom. So now it is final fight here. Hydron looking at an overclock right now. It's going to be on him to be able to get that online as Smurf tries to hold down the front line with his Primal Rage.
Smurf low, pops Primal. Hydron the target. Hydron tried to lose him there in traffic, but Smurf still focusing him down. This ends right now. Hydron using that overclock, still getting chased by Smurf this whole time. Smurf's just hoping the rest of his team can clean up. Hydron puts a disruptor shot at his feet, so Smurf cannot escape. Overtime in session. Florida Mayhem do end up losing Surmus yet, but Seoul can't get back to the point. Florida Mayhem will tie up control as we go to round 3.
Super competitive right now, and it's off the back of initial picks from both of these teams. And even if that happens, sometimes they're able to hang on from smart usage of their ultimates just for survivability or making sure that they can get picks. You know, maybe Fitz gets taken out, Prophet's able to go in with the Reaper and stay on pace with Smurf to just try to take out whoever's in the front line of the Mayhem. But vice versa, that's happening too.
It's been hard, really, to stop Hydron just kind of getting away with what he wants, especially when he unleashes the overclock. It has been on Smurf to kind of focus him down. We saw at the very end with the Primal Rage, something that a lot of Winstons are doing. Primaling when that overclock comes out from the enemy team and just pushing the Sojourn away, making sure she can't get one shot. Speaking about getting one shot, someone's in trouble. Same with Checkmate and Hydron. They're all taking a boatload of damage. A fridge full. Something. A bucket full.
A vessel.
A vessel full of damage. There you go. You can use any of those, to be fair. Fitz just trying right now, playing Headhunter, looking for someone to snipe from a distance. Point is unlocked, the Soul has put themselves on it, and they do gain a little bit of percent there. Someone's bubble burn is quite big, and now Seoul Dynasty want to go on the offensive. They know someone is pretty low and actually end up taking him down. Fitz used the rail, doesn't find the headshot, but a body shot will do. Take down the Winston. Can't really capitalize on any of the space. Okay, Surmus still.
What? Well, I mean, that's actually a pretty big pick because now, you know, Florida, they are going to get their reinforcements back in pretty good time. Swiftly coming back to the point already. That's it. They're going to contest. Oh my god, Prophet's dead.
Already? And now Hydron, look at Smurf just perma-focusing right now. I know you haven't got power slide stuff, but you don't need it. Checkmate was right there. He just dashed into the warm embrace of Checkmate. And Smurf falls, and so do the rest of the Seoul Dynasty. Like I said, that was all capitalized on because Fitz ended up going down first, regrouping extremely quickly to Lucio as Florida find their first cap of the game.
I mean, Surmatch is also playing like, hey, he's playing with the team, but he's also carving out those small opportunities to go on a flank and try to get some massive damage in. He is a sharp shot. We have seen this before in meta's past, especially when it's come to the Zenyatta. So that's been really great to see that translate over to the kunai from Kiriko.
Oh, he's just so good with the railgun. All right, Smurf, you got to find him. You haven't got much health left, though. Yeah, you see that? He didn't even touch Hydron in that engagement. He wanted to stop him getting railgun shots off, but he was just burned down so quickly. Fitz gets boot, Prophet, stone cold stunned there. Seoul Dynasty struggling to get any semblance in this fight.
It's just the pace that Florida Mayhem have been setting as well, where someone goes in, dives in, and it just is so much follow-up, so much support from the rest of Florida, whether it's the Suzu to really help someone stay as aggressive and in Seoul Dynasty's face. But what's going on with the Reaper here?
Oh. Dead bottom from the top rope. Someone putting a bubble on him so he can't be interrupted or killed. Later beat for the Seoul Dynasty there is really nice. They don't use it against the Death Blossom because they didn't take much damage from it. And now Prophet holds in the corner. A nice little boop off the map, but Checkmate doesn't have that teleport away. And now the point flip will come through from the Seoul Dynasty, you have to imagine. With Animo dead. All right, there we go. 88% though for Florida. You're feeling so good about that.
Yeah, that's final fight. You're always looking at that benchmark of 85% before you allow that point to flip back over. But Seoul still have their work cut out for them. Really looking at that Kitsune rush to try to get something else online. So Eurus is able to kind of plant that on the point, maybe plant that over the Mega Health Pack by the ledge. But, you know, gotta take care of Hydron too. Nobody's keeping him in check right now.
Cheme gets his head caved in there by Fitz's railgun. All right, 50% for Seoul. A single pick will end this. And you got to think, the Florida Mayhem, they know if they just lose one, they can regroup as 5. They have a little bit.
Ooh.
If they lose one, they can regroup as 5. They can go again. They've got a little bit of time to play with.
They do, but this is going to be final fight, especially with the positioning that Smurf is going to be taking on the high ground here. Eurus has great sights on Smurf to just kind of get up closer.
If they lose one, they can regroup as 5 again. So they got a little bit of time to play with. Sojun, everybody.
Oh, man.
So, okay, not Sojun that time. Wow, these Slaggers are pretty brutal. Yeah, Florida Mayhem are playing on their spawn doors.
Well, they just have to back up. They just have to. If they lose anybody else here, they can't regroup as 5.
True.
So, final fight here.
You do be spitting facts, though. Speaking of facts, Fitz, factually highest damage in the league right now. Oh, what a shot on Animo. See ya, son. Dynasty have that Primal Rage shoot to Epic Storm. Hydron does take out Iris. They cannot afford to let this point flip, but look at this chase. Smurf is absolutely pummeling Sir Mached. He's got no teleports. Smurf heads rising up. Seoul Dynasty looking good. And it's the final hope for Florida Mayhem. Animo and someone getting onto that point using the beat in the Primal Rage, but looking rather unwinnable as Seoul Dynasty end up using a beat of their own. Fitz does end up falling as the reinforcements come back. Hydron switched onto Widow to find a miracle pick maybe. Animo dead, Checkmate next on, and now even Sir Mached getting a say in this. But yeah, ultimates, damage, and bodies on the point. The Seoul Dynasty start off the series strong with a dub.
Woo! Okay, Seoul. What a good first map, though, for this series. Very close, 3 rounds. But yeah, Seoul, just like the way that they're able to control the territory of each map is very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're getting picks like that, especially on control, really messes up the tempo. And like you said, Rose, the Florida Mayhem, super aggressive. We know someone likes to get up in your face, play to the spawn doors, and punish people for stepping up. When the tables are turned on them, that's when they found themselves in a little bit of danger there, when Fitz is on height, getting railgun clicks on the enemy Sojun, or like Lucio, whoever, right?
Yeah, Florida got off kilter there just a little bit, just kind of being held at the gates.
Off kilter, but not capsizing just yet. Seoul Dynasty, though, up a map. We'll have to see what Florida, where they want to go after this break, seems to say.
doubts are put to the side. They said couldn't make this team good. Well, you're wrong. This team is now a championship team.
Because they will now have Vindane following up on those kills and pushed all the way back to the spawn room.
The hell was that? Prophet in the meantime starting to go off. Finds Butterfly and Slee take on. They're looking for a little bit more though. He's trying to get the tracking down here on Izzyaki. Eventually gets that elimination. Prophet is going off. He is finding damn near everything in the kill feed right now for the side of the Dynasty.
Smurf does have Primal though. Another time buy for sure that it's Primal time for Smurf. That's exactly what you could ask for. And he gets another. And that's why you sub this man in. The Smurf show is real.
Damn, Smurfhead to be rising and grinding. He almost led the server in damage. That was a pretty exceptional game of Ilios. Him and Fitz just going quite crazy. 27% of the team's damage. Fitz, Smurf not too far behind it. 26% of the team's damage. Looking good so far at the Seoul Dynasty. We'll see if Florida Mayhem have something to say on the way back. They do get a map choice, so that's pretty nice. We are going to Eichenwalde as our next map.
Smurf also had the lowest deaths. That's pretty cool. A lot of uptime, I guess, leads to being able to do more damage, but nonetheless, very good to be able to have such a strong frontline presence.
Oh yeah.
Up and ready.
I mean, honestly, this is going to sound very one-dimensional, but it's seriously, if you just don't die, especially if you're a support player, right? Like, just not dying is more important than killing people, right? Because your presence is more than enough, especially on control where you're gaining percentage every single second that you control, right? So Smurf just existing and just not falling over and waiting for his supports, playing a little bit more passive, juggling point, like, it's really what separates the best Winston's from the good ones.
I was just giggling at the fact you said just Smurf existing.
He,
like,
he does exist. It's true.
He does exist. He's real.
I think Florida Mayhem would prefer he didn't exist for this series, because right now he is going to town. We're going to Eichenwalde as our next map, Rose, and yeah, this is Florida Mayhem's pick, so what do you make of this? Where are we going here?
Well, this was a map they absolutely dominated play-ins on. It was in every single one of their map pools where they just completely smacked their opponents. And not only did they win the map, but they won the map with like time to spare. Especially when they were given the defensive option first. They just kind of bum rushed to the finish line. So, comfort pick for Florida. They have a lot of practice with just how someone has been able to play the Winston on the high ground of second point, and just how they navigate through the third one as well. And Kiriko also enables you to be able to play on the streets way better.
Yeah, now I'm kind of thinking about it. The amount of like straight lines we have in Overwatch, like, you know, they say all roads lead to Rome, right? Every pathway being straight. It's kind of insane how much value Kiriko can get with the Kitsune Rush. Like, if you think about second and third, they're just lines, man. That sounds so ridiculous what I just said.
Everything is just lines.
I guess technically everything is lines.
Everything in a video game, for the most part, is lines.
True. They are pixels technically, which are 4 lines.
But they make lines.
We're getting rather philosophical here in the playoffs, don't worry.
All right, pick. No pick.
I mean, teams, you know.
Listen, you say that.
Sometimes it happens.
You say that, but sometimes it happens. Okay, so Widowmaker not going to get a quick pick here. So Seoul Dynasty going to pivot Prophet onto the Reaper to be able to lock in this composition for now. And a big jump in there from Smurf to send out both Disruptor shots.
Like the reaction there from Hydra. He slides away, but also lays down a Disruptor shot in his wake. So if anybody does try and chase him, he gets slowed down, takes some damage. Pretty nice movement there from Hydra. Does lead Seoul Dynasty to get this nice flank. That right click from Fitz goes straight into the bubble. And look who is behind right now. Hydron just snuck into the backline of the Seoul Dynasty and just spatching him.
He's gonna go touch the spawn doors.
Oh, you don't want to lose the charge? No.
Nah, you know what, that's okay. He gets a little bit more damage there. The Disruptor shot was thrown at the spawn door, but a nice disengage so Florida can get reset back up for their defensive hold. They're playing around that central pillar as well as just playing around the gate that payload is going to go under. And it's great because they have the natural cover, but they can also know what to expect when Smurf jumps in. He gets chunked to half every time.
Good reactions by Surmashed there. You can see he just saved someone. The Suzu on the ground teleports straight back. You've got to ignore Surmashed in that situation, right? Because you know he's just going to TP. kind of a waste of resources if you end up trying to chase him. Well, now the Seoul Dynasty on the chase, on the hunt, looking for more kills. Hydron's in the sights of Fitz right now, just permanently focusing him, just even charging his right click off of him. The beat comes out from the Florida Mayhem. If they can survive, the Seoul Dynasty might just lay down a beat of their own. Fitz receives it, luckily jumping out of the bubble, but Profit still ends up falling. An extremely scrappy fight. The Seoul Dynasty end up using the beat late, and they find no positioning off it at all.
It was unlucky because the timing of the beat wasn't quite there to be able to save Profit. Profit also wasn't in range to be able to receive that overhealth, but he died instantly. He was super, super low. So Seoul, they have to go again here, but it is less than 2 minutes. So they've got 1:40 to try to get this done.
Oh, give him a punch.
Oh.
All right, all good though. Still got the kill. Hydron, that's the second time he's been behind the Seoul Dynasty. Overclock and the Primal Rage being unleashed. The Florida Mayhem, they've got to come up with something large. Oh, Fitz ending checkmate spree there with the railgun. That's Death Blossom shut quickly down.
Cybernetic innovation at its finest day.
All right, quick take here for Seoul after a very scrappy beginning of the map, but getting the payload rolling, not having much in the bank is a little bit scary. Florida Mayhem, they wiped pretty quickly enough so that they could have that forward spawn and grab this high ground position. So you'll see that someone will go ahead and take one angle and you'll create a crossfire as Hydron gets set up on those castle stairs. Oh my god. Oh, the power slides too, just to be able to take that verticality, find even more of it. Really, really nice here.
Sojin has a bit of everything in her kit. Oh, Fitz just super scared. He peeks there real fast, I can imagine, just to see if Hydron has rail, and he does. A couple of... there's company! Okay, he's got the slide. Now it looks very ominous there. The Seoul Dynasty staring down the barrel of that railgun. Hydron. Oh, that was a short slide! He didn't complete the slide at all. Actually just kind of stopped midway, and the Seoul Dynasty just used amp speed to chase him out. Wow, Hydron's movement not looking quite as clean as it normally does.
I think part of that is it's really just that Seoul know that Hydron's going to go on some type of flank. He was behind the enemy team a lot in that first point defense, so look out for it, right? Punish it when you see it.
Jesus, Fitz got X-ray vision shooting someone through the trees. Taking him out, Kitsune rushes, and Hydron comes back from spawn, but look at the side that he's on. He can't really fight this. He has to find some sort of miracle pick, and he actually does! So, Hydron just going kind of nuclear there, killing off Iris. I thought he was as good as dead. He was looking straight at Fitz, but actually, he was looking at Iris straight behind him. The Seoul Dynasty, at least to push that payload almost onto that bridge. Now they have to back up. Spawn position's quite nice for the Florida Mayhem. Now they're in a good spot to just kind of rain death from above.
The defensive position for Florida is really good too, because that card is in such an awkward position, where no matter how Seoul try to approach the card, they're still in a pretty significant amount of open space.
Oh, look at this. Nice beat, saving Hydron's life there. Smurf just evaporated in front of Hydron. My goodness, Seoul Dynasty used their beat. They've still got Fitz and Profit kind of alive, not really anymore. Oh man, they still got 2 DPS ults, I suppose, to push through this this choke point. Someone going hyper aggro with that Primal Rage, trying to get some additional staggers. Last fight for Seoul. They've got Railgun, the Overclock, and they've got that Death Blossom. It's actually traversing this high ground, which has been a big problem for them.
Yeah, that's why that card is in such an awkward spot. I mean, and how do you approach this? Because as the attacking team, Seoul have to invest a lot of mobility cooldowns in order to actually approach and reach Florida. By that point, they have their own cooldowns to get away, so...
Railgun for Fitz. A body shot onto checkmate as he uses the fate to get away. Is there going to be any more kills? He's trying as he might, but the Florida Mayhem just playing completely out of LOS. He hasn't got no more charges left, but Profit, of course, Profit does that. Just hits him with the one shot. Easy mode. That was, that was everybody from Florida looking at Fitz, dodging out the way. Profit TPs to high ground, jumps on him, and there you go. Spin the win, getting the kills. All right, Profit to save the day. That's one of the big benefits. I mean, if you think of the Seoul Dynasty, it's like, okay, if Fitz doesn't pop off, that's fine, because Profit's going to pop off either way. Like, they have 2 humongous threats on their roster. It's so scary. Now they enter their last push here.
Yeah, they got the Kitsune Rush as well, ready to go, but maybe Checkmate can dish out a little bit of Profit's own medicine at them.
All right, Kitsune rushed on the corner. Only Smurf benefiting right now with someone just into the back line, trying to find some damage. Oh, straight from the rafters. Oh my goodness, like Nostradamus, but he ends up going down. That was a nice death loss or attempted one, but Suzu was there to save Iris and the rest of the team. Vindime does fall to a railgun, but look at this. They're pushing so quickly, and they may be able to finish with over a minute, but the Florida Mayhem still have spawns. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do so unless Smurf just bashes people away. Nope, under a minute is going to be the goalposts here. Even if they can set it in, I'm not sure they can do it on this push at least, with Prophet falling and Smurf super low HP and annihilated. All right, final fight here for the Seoul Dynasty. They're going to have to regroup one last time.
Losing Vindame was pretty risky here for Seoul to have to go in and try to approach the cart. They didn't have a great disengage mechanism because they didn't have that Lucio speed boost available to them, but they also didn't have the manpower to be able to deal with the respawn pressure of Florida. Sermajet though, a huge pick onto Fitz with 20 seconds remaining.
Yep, Seoul Dynasty have to fight this 4-on-5. Look at the headshots coming out from Sermajet right now. Wow, the damage output is extraordinary. 13 seconds to go. Seoul Dynasty need to touch, but they're going to be facing a Kitsune rush. It's going to be all up to Fitz. He has to hit a 5k with this railgun. The beat comes out from Vindame, but it only hits 2. Prophet trying to save the day once again with the Death Blossom. Teleports to the chandeliers and descends like a gargoyle in front of the Florida Mayhem. And now Fitz trying to open this one up. The Seoul Dynasty managed to group as 5, but Hydron with an emergency Widow Swap takes care of 2. Hydron, one of these shots. Both Iris and a DPS fall to Hydron's Widowmaker, and they will hold the side down in Seoul Dynasty just before that 3rd point.
Oh, the Suzu, the emergency Suzu from Sermajet 2 onto Hydron's Widowmaker to keep him alive from the Winston dive. What? What a hero play coming out from this player. I mean, we've seen how good he is with those charged railgun shots from the Sojourn, but the Widow pick, you know, he tried to do that too on Ilios, but it didn't quite work out. But this time around, stopping Seoul in their tracks.
In those last minute, like, desperation picks, if you're Seoul in that situation, you're touching payload. You have to. It's OT. You get off, you lose, right? Well, not lose. It's just, you know, you end the round.
Yeah.
With the Widowmaker, you don't need to charge up a shot. Well, I guess technically you do, but you don't need to charge it up like Sojourn does.
It takes
so
way
just
less time.
One pick is more than enough. And sometimes, you know, like I said, you're in a position where you're like Fitz, like Prophet. You are peeking corners to try and get impact in the fight. You can't just sit around just waiting for the Widowmaker to be dislodged. I mean, let's have a look. Okay, insta-switch to Widow, grapples around the corner. Iris lined up, dude's duck hunting. Look at this guy go. And then he just sits on this corner.
Yeah, I mean, like,
onto Fitz too.
Fitz was looking in Hydron's direction too. He had that charge shot ready, but couldn't hit it fast enough before Hydron took him out. But let's go ahead and swap sides here. There's the goalpost set there from Seoul Dynasty's attack push, just shy of 3rd point.
The breeze brings relief. They're going to need a lot more than just relief, I think, to topple the Titans that are Seoul Dynasty. Right, let's have a look. I would love Hydron to just continue to play at this. You're corralling the team right now into a small choke point. And yeah, Prophet have to look 2 different ways. A good start for the Florida Mayhem. And Smurf gets chased down. Look, he's not afraid at all. Hydron, 0 fear of the Winston. Maybe has to fear the Lucio a little bit, as Vindime does take him down eventually. But look at the tempo that Florida Mayhem are playing at once again. It took Seoul Dynasty a couple of attempts. They were slowly, kind of, but surely setting these fights up. The Florida Mayhem playing at a tempo kind of unmatched by Seoul on their first attack.
I love that you said Florida Mayhem were corralling Seoul Dynasty. The way that Hydron was able to create that crossfire as the rest of someone and the team started pushing in from another direction. You even saw that too from Checkmate, teleporting up to the high ground of that health pack building behind the 1st point.
Prophet, I think, just went for a little flank there. Just a little TP and then an insta-kill onto Sermajet. Now back up to the high ground. All right, Kitsune Rush available for Sermajet coming in. He's going to have his one online a little bit faster than Iris after all that damage he did on 1st point, but with Checkmate going down, looks rather unassailable, this castle. I mean, ideally, all you do here, this is like classic Eichenwalde, right? you just hold the team at the gate because your Hitscan or Sojourn in this scenario has such a free sightline, and Florida Mayhem have to peek, but Seoul Dynasty have like the priority angle over the Florida Mayhem. They're going to have to do something to try and even the ties, but again, Surmashed just gets flattened into a pancake as that Kitsune rush comes out.
Animo Hydron have now fallen. Surmashed held on to the Kitsune rush though, so at least you know when Florida Mayhem are coming back into this one, they've got 5 ultimates to be able to break this stronghold that Seoul have on this first doorway. Although Smurf could probably just go in and play Doorkeeper too. He's got the Primal Rage online, can just juggle people away, but someone does make it past the gates.
Yeah, nice Kitsune rush too. Look at that lineup. You can benefit from that looking all the way up that street. Smurf had pretty no hope. Of course, your cooldowns of ability haste too, so someone's just leaping, literally like leapfrog. We're going back to 1980. Playing a little bit of leapfrog there. That's even too far back for me to be there, buddy. I'm gonna be honest. All right, beat coming out. Beat coming out from Vindime. Okay, to try and, I guess, to match Arnimo's beat there. But it only hits 2, him and Iris, and then Smurf had to back out anyway. If you're Florida Mayhem in that situation, you're way more than happy about Vindime using B to try and stabilize this fight. High ground control looking to be taken by the Seoul Dynasty. The juggler's looking great. Hydro can't even get on top of the floor. Smurf with the Primal Blade almost there. Shades of Gooshway. And now Surmashed's the target. Does he have the teleport? He used the Suzu, but Smurf just running him down.
Really nice fight there from Seoul, and now I understand why the sound barrier was used there from Vindame. It looked a little funky, like, you know, why are you using it when Florida Mayhem are so far away? You're down players. The sound barrier saved Seoul from getting staggered, so they had a chance to come back in and recontest, knowing that Smurf's Primal Rage will be good. Oh, Prophet's Death Blossom before they can move in.
Just profit things, I guess.
Woo.
It's a good amount of time being put off the bank right now.
Yeah, that sound barrier not looking too funny anymore, huh?
Yeah, that's true. True and real.
All right, well, it's time for Seoul Dynasty to hold Florida Mayhem at the gates. But the Disruptor shot and also someone's ability to jump forward will be able to at least try to push Seoul Dynasty back. Nice disengage, but another Kitsune rush online. Where is someone going?
Well, I mean, he tried to make like an entrance there. They're touching the payload, forces Seoul Dynasty to back up.
He's pushing the payload.
Yeah, well, yeah,
oh, wait,
do be chilling. I guess he's kind of hoping that he can TP to someone, then someone leaps out. Whoop, there you go.
Alright, just getting a little bit of progress, but that does actually buy some time. Reinforcements are back.
Opens it up a little bit as well.
Yeah, like now they get a chance to actually try to go up to the high ground, which is something that has been difficult for both of these teams. Seoul Dynasty had trouble doing it when Florida was defending, and now vice versa.
Oh, early Suzu. Oh, can't Suzu that. Surmashed. Wow, Fitz is just on another level right now with these railgun shots. Kind of insane. And who can really soften at this point? We've seen a lot of Winstons try and do it in the past, but when you're burning that jump and the bubble to get onto high ground safely, you cannot dislodge Fitz. He is literally a stone structure on there, like a turret.
Well, that's why, you know, when you can't use those cooldowns defensively, then yeah, that's got to feel bad.
Sneaky beaky, like you see Fitz there on the camera, looking over the rest of his team, making sure he knows the exact positioning of Prophet, Smurf, Iris, and Vindame. It looks like Florida Mayhem, they were actually bypassing him completely.
Yeah,
so
that's not gonna work out.
That play didn't really work out too well. However, he's still, okay, now in a lot of trouble. Florida Mayhem, yeah, Fitz is in a weird spot. I wonder where he was. Now I know where he is.
It was a nice attempt.
I mean, to be fair, if they go through the main gate, he unloads Overclock, like easy clap, right?
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, didn't end up working out. Florida Mayhem took an alternate route. And now the payload is finally moving. 30 seconds to go, though, and Seoul Dynasty have a touch.
They can get another touch in, and this would be last fight territory.
Death Blossom's coming out from Checkmate. He's being kept alive. That's Suzu. Not quite enough to keep him up. You see Prophet, both Beyblades hitting each other in the arena, but Prophet smacks Checkmate straight out, dismantling the Beyblades and getting them banned from the schoolyard. Seoul Dynasty pushing the Florida Mayhem away when with 10 seconds to go, and Hydron completely eliminated from the fight. Oh my god, 4 seconds and 0.3 meters. Florida Mayhem almost managed to C9 the Seoul Dynasty, but they managed to touch in the nick of time. Surmashed erased, and Seoul Dynasty And now 2-0 in the series, securing that match point.
Ooh, that second point was hard to assail for both teams, but Seoul being able to stop Florida Mayhem's push before they even entered into third point. Pretty big.
That was so close to a C9.
I feel like you and I are just like, we're prepared to see the C9.
Oh yeah, no,
so we always look at like, oh man, are they gonna touch?
It was 0.3 meters away there.
It was cutting it a little close for comfort.
Oh
but
yeah.
Seoul did it.
Wow, 2-0 up in the series already. Florida Mayhem still putting up a heck of a fight. They managed to stop Seoul just before that third point. The finish line was in their sights, but the Seoul Dynasty managed to bit them to it. And look, at the end of the day, Seoul are one of the more scary teams. They didn't get a choice of their opponent today, of course, but if you look at their performances in recent memory, and just like the caliber of players on their team, it feels like it doesn't matter who they end up picking. They take anybody on at this point. We'll see if Florida Mayhem can come back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Seoul on match point.
Guys, there you go. We've got the first week of APAC out of the way. It has been a long time coming. We're finally able to do it, and it feels great to be back.
People are used diving on in, they just SMGs him down, looking for more damage now, and he's finding for sure.
So top there's going to be the grab coming through. They lock in Void. It's an easy headshot here for MN3. Continues to look for a little bit more. 2 minutes now remaining. Time what? Drained down by half as MN3 is unleashed. What a beautiful shot there on the Legion Con. And Shanghai Dragons, they need to reset now. This is just time being wasted. Where are you going, my friend?
Jeez, what's going on here?
Just domes him from above.
Double Reaper is arrayed against them. Come to a point and dare to face our Goth army.
Oh, the Shock, hoping to reap what they sow. The Coalescence to pressure the Gladiators back. The Soundbearer used to counter the Death Blossom duplicate of Sam. He heads back, 99% for the Shock. If they win it here, it won't be it. Proper, the dent has been made. The Gladiators fall. It's not shields up, it's brooms up. Shock will take the Game 5.
And that is a mastery of tactics and continuum of play from the San Francisco Shock.
Victoria shifting its attention when playing with his team is where Boston looked their best. Now with this fight win, and they stagger Decay, that is big. A 5 versus 4, they've lost Valentine. Happy is back on the Widow and his headshot 2 people. Alert, 911, Happy has killed 3. Crimso is down. Boston barely have any heals. Pocket get no help. The sound barrier is too late. Boston have flubbed the bag. I can't believe Happy clutched that.
Hello? 911, I'm gonna need an emergency brain because it's headshot after headshot after headshot from Happy coming out at the end of King's Row. I'm getting the weirdest feeling of deja vu right now, and Boston Uprising are feeling pretty miffed about what just happened. Be crazy, man.
They actually managed to take the high ground, then link up with LPE on the top, but now they have to push the payload. We're into OT. Shanghai have reclaimed high ground. Burner's on the ground. Yeah, they are going to touch, thankfully. But the rest of the team's cut off. Look at Ironing's positioning. He's still back in spawn.
Yeah, Alpha, you're going to get jumped on here. The Tac Visor is available, and Lip is going to pop that. They put a lot of heals out on him, the Nano Boost as well. Lip going to find 1, 2, 3 kills, looking for a little more, and he's going to get all 5 members. Gets the team kill, gets the ace to go ahead and close out Eichenwalde.
Here's that wall. Sparker playing from his side of it until he gets close enough to get at the Ryan shield. Sound barrier for both sides, but Pelican not benefiting from it there. Another big shatter from Hardy. Beautiful stuff. Merritt's knocked to the ground, and Piggy's not long after him. Cleaning house, this man on the Reinhardt. Ooh, okay. 5 kills? That's filthy. That's Hardy for you.
Hardy representing main tanks everywhere.
Postseason perks are here. New community-designed Overwatch 2 cosmetics. Our skins for all heroes including Sojourn, Junker Queen, and Kiriko. And 3 for 3 perks are back. 3 League home and away skins for every 3 hours watched. Connect your Battle.net ID to your YouTube account and watch the perks pile up.
Well, you're already getting some tokens. You might as well have something to spend it on. Don't miss the Kick-Off Clash Legendary Team Mix skins. That's the Glad and the Soul one. They look pretty snazzy. The Soul one is on your screen right now. The Soul Dynasty Tiger skin is on sale now through November 15th for just 200 tokens. Grab it before it is gone. Yeah, do it. Just grab it. On sale right now.
Looks
great.
even better with the Golden Reaper guns too.
Yeah, it does actually, yeah.
Looks so good.
I rock that one when I'm playing Reaper. All right, the Soul Dynasty, the team in question. That's a very funny scoreline, 2-1, 2-1 right now. They're 2-0 in this series. I mean, look, Hydron has had a heck of a game. Widowmaker looking great. The Sojourn, obviously looking good. Sojourn has just been such a standout for the Florida Mayhem. He's put his team on his back sometimes. But the Soul Dynasty, they're putting him up to task. It's been tough for him to get any value down. And the Florida Mayhem feeling like they need to switch things up here.
Yeah, that's why we're going to see a little bit of a sub coming out here. RuPaul coming in for Onimo, so might not see some Lucio this time around, but rather the double flex support. That is a look we have seen from the Florida Mayhem, especially when they don't feel as confident going up against their opponents. We have seen them pull out some interesting picks.
Yeah, I'd love to see what they want to run. I mean, we kind of spoke about it, right? It was like, well, who is going to run cheese in this meta? And we saw a little bit of Outlaws, a little bit of Hog, a little bit of Hog. But Florida Mayhem, they do like to mix things up a bit. They just play to their strengths or find something that might work a little better. And having a map pick too, you're like, okay, Junkertown, double flex. Are we going to see something like a Zen here or like Zen Ana or like... Honestly, at this point, I have no clue. Kiriko Zen, Kiriko Ana, but then you have like no super good util. I mean, you've got Sleep and Nade. It's all up in the air right now. I'm curious what they're gonna pick.
I can see like Kiriko Bap. Actually, oh my God, could you think about that? The Suzu plus the Immortality Field.
Everybody was kind of worried about that. I remember when Kiriko got.
But that's like the cheese, right? It'll work for a time until Soul Dynasty figure it out, but then do you have something else that you could potentially rely upon if that is the direction you decide to go in for Junkertown?
All right, luckily with Florida on the defense. All right, good stuff. Thank God for that, because I want to see what they're going to run. Do they have the Zen Kiriko? I mean, that's a lot of upfront damage, to be fair, with the orbs, but it is going to be the... Wait for it. He might go back. Waiting. No. Okay. Someone on the Hog and RuPaul on the Bat. Alrighty. And checkmate Widow. Woo.
Oh, this is spicy. I'm glad to see the BAP and the Kiriko because that makes me feel very smart. But I do think that having the double sniper-esque combination is also really good. Haven't seen Checkmate Widowmaker in a while because it really has been about the Reaper, the Genji, but to be able to see that have some impact here would be pretty big. You have a lot of one-shot potential across the board. You have the Sojourn charged up railgun shots. You have the Checkmate Widowmaker snipes. And then what if you get hooked by someone and just, like, slammed in the face?
No Kiriko for Soul Dynasty either. They're actually just running the Zen and the Ana. I mean, it's the perfect counter to the Hog, right? Anti-nade, of course, but baiting out the Suzu is going to be so important. If you get an anti in the Hog, Suzu comes out, he's immortal, and it cleanses the anti. So
that's right.
It's a pretty big ability you're going to have to force. Classic double sniper too from Soul, Widowmaker, and the Hanzo. Ooh, good sleep.
Okay.
Rock nade. Oh,
yeah.
Whoa!
Actually got rocked.
Put to bed. How are they going to defend this now? It's going to be pretty damn tough. You're relying on Checkmate here to get picks, to make this even. Looks like Hydron has done that. Fitz taking down Hydron, who went on the flank. Same with RuPaul, and Fitz found himself between a rock and a Kiriko there.
Okay, well, Sir Much barely escaped to this life there, but he is able to go back to the loving arms of RuPaul.
Someone's
get healed up.
Rock, I'm sorry, what?
Listen, I don't know,
Call
but...
him Neo. Well, that was some kind of defense from Mayhem.
That was a defense.
Yeah, do they switch? Okay. Ooh, Nice shot. Seoul Dynasty, I feel like they maybe switch the Widow here and go Sojourn. Makes the most sense to me. Florida Mayhem switching up completely. So RuPaul off the flex support now. He's going to a main support, and it's going to be Lucio, but checkmate. Not on Reaper. He's going on to the Genji instead. I can imagine to kind of contend with Iris here.
Which is interesting because the Genji has been nerfed just slightly for this patch. So you're looking at less ammo in your kit. So you're going to have to reload a little bit more often here. And also you're doing less damage. So is the Genji really going to work here? It is just to be able to contest with the Sojourn and the Hanzo here to make sure that you can deflect those shots.
Oh man. I mean, Servercheck kind of lined himself up for that one, really. Just jumped straight in front of Prophet. Look, he's not going to miss those.
No. That's why the Genji's really risky. Is it works if you're able to get into a position to use the deflect and also help out your front line so that you're not just going to get bodied by some snipe shot from the Sojourn or the Hanzo on the side of Seoul Dynasty. But what a quick point B cap here for Seoul. 5.5 minutes in the time bank entering into this third objective.
Yeah, this payload has not stopped.
They haven't used ult yet.
Okay. Nano boost. Nano fits. You won't.
Hello?
It is a one-shot to the body, mind you, for low health targets with that overclock, so wouldn't be bad at all. Iris does get taken care of though. Now Fizz in a whole heap of trouble, but of course he's got Vin Diamond in his back. Overclock coming out, Server Shed, Hydron, absolutely toast. Prophet does end up falling, but Smurf just staying alive for at least a little bit longer there does prolong the inevitable. Get a little bit of push on the payload. Seoul Dynasty switching it up. They want to save the nano boost. I can imagine Smurf switches to Winston. He does. So they're just looking for a nano engage, then switching onto the Kiriko. But checkmate cooking up something saucy. Nope, Iris is bad.
Okay, what?
Oh, and he goes in with a blade anyway. Nice 1/2. Sleep comes out way too late. Checkmate kills one. And that should be the Florida Mayhem holding off at least for a moment.
Yeah, Prophet received the nano boost there from Iris. It did net him a little bit of charge, also in elimination, but eventually Iris will switch over to the Kiriko, so we're back to a bit more standard composition. And Checkmate's going back to spawn as well, just recognizing that the Genji has served its purpose, the Hanzo is gone, so you may as well go back to the Reaper as well. Otherwise, you won't have the same type of damage to be able to contend with those Winston bubbles and against the other team.
All right. Kitsune Rush and that overclock, you're reloading hella fast. Even more so if you get an elimination as a DPS, you reload at light speed. Pretty scary. Hydron, oh, he is caught. He is completely caught out. I don't think he was expecting that beat there from the Seoul Dynasty as they try and push their way through that choke point. Someone takes Fitz, at least to the grave, as Iris finds a couple of headshots. He's actually dodging out of the way of someone quite effectively. As the Seoul Dynasty get the payload going once again. A couple of minutes burnt there, but you take that any day of the week.
Yeah, you are waiting for your Sojourn to come back, but I see the taxi coming in from Vindame to make sure that Fitz is back in the action. Gonna use the power slide as well to make sure that you had a little bit of high ground presence here, but quickly taken away by Florida as they meet them up there.
Nice, Suzu, stopping that incoming damage. Iris doesn't want to take too many of those right clicks on the Winston. Tanks do have aim, trust me. Seoul Dynasty in a good position now though. If they can get this payload around this corner, this Kitsune Rush will be devastating.
No, that's not just the Kitsune Rush, but also the overclock that Fitz is working up to as well. Hydron trying to just keep them at bay.
I love
here.
this rotation.
Oh, there's the,
He misses the shot. Okay, Hydron has to just escape real quick. He does manage to get out just in time. Someone separates from him with the bubbles. Those heals not being as effective, but the Seoul Dynasty, just one giant brain cell right now, all on the same page. Dodge out of the way of that bubble and receive the healing. Oh, Smurf is just dirty on the Winston. Florida Mayhem shoved all the way back into spawn. They got a couple of meters to contend with, and they still have to rock and roll into Fitz and Prophet's ult. They end up using the beat, hit someone, RuPaul and Surma Shed, but Prophet's lining himself up for a big old Death Blossom. Everybody standing in his way. He's spinning, he's winning. Seoul Dynasty just taking this map in their stride. 2 minutes on the clock as they complete the map.
This has been a rough one for Florida. The way that Smurf has been able to control Hydron has been really big. I mean, Hydron has the most deaths out of anybody in this game so far, and it's because of how much focus Smurf has been putting onto that DPS player for Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the eliminations, to be fair, Rose, they're pretty staggering for Seoul. They got 25 kills, not elims, 25 kills versus Florida's 11. So over double their kills right now. And Hydron just not having the same effect. You mentioned the 7 deaths, but he's only got 2 final blows himself on Sojourn of all characters.
It's very uncharacteristic for him, but I think it's that, you know, in this series as well as how Dallas Fuel were able to beat the Hangzhou Spark even just this match previous. They figured it out too. If you have a good Sojourn on the opposing team, focus them. Because if you do, then they are not able to play the game and they can't eliminate your own teammates.
Yeah. That is true. That is very true. If you just eliminate them, then they can't kill us.
Hey, sometimes the best defense is the best offense.
Look at this Primal Rage here from Smurf, just juggling. Blimey. Yeah, this juggle, it is hard to juggle a Sojourn, but she can't really move when she's in the air. So when she's in that power slide, we've seen it a couple of times now, you are pretty useless. You might as well be one of those little origami birds in the wind. Like, you don't really control much, your wings aren't going to be able to power against the wind.
You're a clay target.
It's rough.
Surf is gonna do it. But with dueling Widowmakers here, Sigma's on both sides. Also, the double flex support once again here for Florida, but this Yada instead of the Kiriko. But wow!
I see you.
I mean, both teams, like, I wonder if they made some type of agreement here, because this really feels off the script. But the Sigmas make a lot of sense when you are looking at the Widowmakers on both sides. Sigma just is a nice classic.
Oh my.
With those snipers. That was very close, Fitz.
What a big brain Fitz has there. Like, looking where Hydron's probably going to jump. That was pretty crazy. A real sixth sense. If you're a Widowmaker player, like, you have that sixth sense of, like, you know where the grapple spots are. So kind of looking at them.
You can be a little predictive.
Exactly, yeah. It really does separate the good from the great Widowmaker players there. Also, your SMG usage too, actually forcing Profit all the way back. Vindem gets capitalized on as well as Surmashed just kind of runs in. We know he's bloodthirsty, but this bloodthirsty, also kicking Smurf in the face. All right.
I mean, look at this. Surmashed is double the alt charge right now of Vindem. His Zenyatta is disgusting. One of the reasons why Florida was able to make as much headway as they did in the Junker Queen meta is because of how aggressive Surmashed's Zenyatta was. It was those Orbs of Discord ensuring that that damage would be true, but then also, yeah, just their own shots.
Just a body shot there from Fitz. That would have been rather bad if RuPaul goes down, takes another body shot, but Surmashed still on a killing spree. In fact, both Zenyatas are a Transcendence and a Lamp. Okay, support, backline, fine for the Florida Mayhem, at least for the time being. In fact, Surmashed is just going to face check Fitz. Okay, Surmashed, we see you. We see you. We know what character you want to play. It is Zen. He's getting his name on the board through and through. All right, first checkpoint unlocked. Florida Mayhem now get to take that high ground.
I mean, this has just been so fast-paced for both of these teams. It really wouldn't surprise me if we ended up going into extra rounds, especially with that huge stagger onto Vindem. Seoul Dynasty cannot take this forward defensive position that they would like to on the high ground. And even Checkmate with the Sonic Arrows, he's pushing really far forward to see if he's able to grab anybody with the Storm Arrows. Oh, gets stuck though. Okay, well.
Didn't even see him.
Nah.
Wow.
And you don't want to waste a lamp there either. Your spawns are so close that it's not worth spending that defensive tool. You know he'll be back soon enough.
Also, good luck getting the Frisbee up there in time.
Yeah, it's also true.
No way. Oh, Profit forced a recall at a Discord orb on him. Look at everybody looking at him right now, but survivability paramount for Profit. Stays up, takes control of the Mega Health Pack, so Hydron can't get a good angle. Gets a good headshot onto Smurf, should be healed up rather quickly. Now he ascends. A flick onto Profit, but Profit pays him a little visit, almost locking him under the cupboard under the stairs there, stealing a health pack away, so no sustenance for Hydron. Dragons to clear out the high ground is a pretty smart move from Florida, but Fish just still holding the ang. Hydron does pay for him, so all right, a one-for-one trade as the Seoul Dynasty now try and hold in this corner. Vindem completely caught out, and now Hydron is coming alive.
That's a good couple of eliminations there for Hydron. Yep, cleaning up shop. As that's going to be the second point captured as well, and maybe not as fast as what Seoul Dynasty were able to push in with 5.5 minutes, but 4.5 still feels pretty good if you're Florida.
Jesus Christ. Okay, Sir Majed.
Sorry. Florida have two snipers. Hydron on Widowmaker and Sir Majed on Zenyatta.
Jeez, he is really taking it to him. How Sir Majed still finding picks, I do not know. And on Widowmakers too.
I know you know the feeling. Sometimes you just line it up and you know too where they're going to be sitting so you can get that predictive volley.
Very true. High ground on Winnow on the high ground. Actually, Transcendence invested. That is a lot of respect for that window. Might not have it for the Flux from the enemy team. Speaking of Fluxes, will be Smurf forcing out Transcendence. RuPaul not needing to use that lamp. All good. Nice trades there. But it's all about high ground control, getting your Widowmakers and even your Sojourns in good spots.
Another amplification matrix, this time being used by Eurus.
What a nice angle. Double body shot mid-lane. Yeah, you just died to that. There's no hope. Absolutely no hope. Prophet also switching over to the Genji. Gets sorted out. Checkmate and the rest of Florida Mayhem just firm control of the high ground. 3 minutes to go, pushing into third rows. They might be able to beat out Seoul Dynasty's time if they're quick enough. They're Flux, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the Flux should be good enough. We saw the Zenyatta Transcendence used already by Seoul. They're making a quick swap of their composition as well. Got the Winston, the Cure go online. Prophet has the Dragon Blade.
There's the Flux. Blade comes out from Proper. Someone has already managed to annihilate Smurf. The Blade's good from Prophet. I mean, Hydron falls, so does RuPaul. There's very little support left for the Florida Mayhem. Initially, it was a good Flux, but Prophet comes out rather large. There's a couple of meters to go. That comp swap working out well. It's whether Seoul will actually end up sticking on this comp if they keep Prophet on Genji.
I think you're fine if you do that, but I want to see the swaps coming in from Florida now. The Sigma is really slow to get working when you are constantly trying to rotate through, pushing yourself forward, and then your shield to create that space. So, no Ana on the other team.
Oh,
maybe it's Roadhog's time to shine.
Okay, we're getting a little wacky and wild here in day 2 of the playoffs.
But you have to. I mean, you've got 2 minutes remaining. Florida, they weren't able to get what they wanted to done with the Sigma Flux, and they're hoping that the Blade is going to be good and the one-shot potential of the Roadhog is going to be enough, but Fitz has already shut down this push.
Oh! Well, Fitz almost took a hook to the face there. There's no Ana on the other side, so you're like, okay, I guess this is good. You take control of the Hog is kind of nice, or the high ground of the Hog is kind of nice. Oh! Prophet dicing with death there. Hydron fighting back the railgun. He's in a lot of trouble though. If he this is just staggering now. I mean, this is what Seoul Dynasty, they're so good at, Rose. They're so good at pushing to the limit that the other team just absolutely crumples like a bit of paper in the wind. Like, there is absolutely no way they finish with time, it feels like, because the stall potential is just so big.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you switch over to the Roadhog, because you're hoping that maybe you grab a hook, but what an early Kitsune rush!
Yeah, you go fast, you go first. Pulse bomb, Kitsune rush, of course Prophet gets 2 kills. Guy's an absolute menace. I guess you at least kill Fitz with the hook and the melee, but with 45 seconds to go, the Florida Mayhem struggling to keep themselves in this series.
Yeah, I mean, they lose this one, they're done, and Seoul Dynasty's gonna win this with a 3-0 and move forward. So as we enter into the last fight, we're looking at the Kitsune rush from Sir Majed. We're looking at the Dragon Blade. 4 ultimates online for Florida. And do they get shut down here by Vindame's sound barrier? Is that enough to sustain?
Another nice dive there, Smurf, completely blocking out that hook. The whole hog straight in the face. 2 supports dead. Whole hog Kitsune rush. That is infinite damage if I had to put a number on it. There's a few seconds remaining as the Florida Mayhem making their final assault on the point. But Seoul, they have 2 massive ultimates coming back. They got Primal, they got beat, but Smurf is super low. The supports are coming out on spawn. And a Suzu, perfectly timed to stop that hook landing, Rose.
Okay, well that means the Primal Rage can come out here and Smurf's gonna be able to touch the card.
A 3-man beat for Seoul. The supports are now out in force. Someone falls, and now the Florida Mayhem have to try and find a way back into this fight, but they don't touch! The Seoul Dynasty are going to end that series quick, sharp. A 3-0 to end it all. They will face Dallas Fuel tomorrow.
What a valiant effort there coming in from Florida Mayhem, especially when the going got tough. They were down 2 maps, tried to bring out something a little bit cheeky, but it didn't quite work. Not enough to fool the team that is at the top right now, Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, they play Wednesday, sorry, not tomorrow. Seoul Dynasty will end up playing the Dallas Fuel in one of Wednesday's matches. The handshakes, GG's all around there. The Seoul Dynasty still looking scary. I mean, Smurf on the Winston looks great, but the guy that just stands above the rest, time and time again, playoffs after playoffs after playoffs, it's got to be Prophet. The guy on the Tracer jumps on a blade from the Genji, not something we usually see, especially in this kind of meta, actually getting value. Just always manages to tip the scales. I mean, I think a lot of people coming into this had Smurf as one of their MVPs, and that was the big question. Who gets MVP this year? Are the Smurf heads rising up, or are the proper fans, you know, out in force? And you can kind of see why he was in contention for that, because of how versatile he's been for the Seoul Dynasty over this year. In a single tank game, not even a meta, you are looking at your tank players to step up something massive, and Smurf just continues to perform. And you can tell how much veterancy the Seoul Dynasty have as well, Rose. Their ability to push the boundaries of what is possible in these fights, just really taking Florida Mayhem to the bleeding edge. You saw the stackers at the very end. It's very hard to come back from that.
It is so tough to come back from that one, and a lot of why we really saw that, you know, pedal to the metal was not only the space that Smurf had created for the team, but also Prophet was just running rings around them. Prophet will be your player of the match as just such a dominant force. I mean, what can't this guy do? The Reaper plays were on point, the Death Blossoms constantly converting over to 2 or 3 picks.
Prophet's history in the league has just been extraordinary, honestly. You think of the players that have come and gone from like Season 1. There is a lot of players right now that are brand new to the league. Prophet is still playing at the height of his game and the height of Overwatch 2. Like I said, pushing the limits of how Overwatch can be played, and he's just continuing to dominate. Like, he's been around also since like the Apex days. It's a very scary prospect when you join the lobby and Prophet's there too, and it's astounding at the level he continues to perform at. Words can't really put it in, well, you can't really put it into words how good Prophet is. Like you said, Rose, player of the match here. Reaper stats looking great, but yeah, he played well this game.
I mean, he played Reaper, he played Hanzo, he played Genji, he played Tracer. Just heroes that he's been known for the entirety of his career. Yeah. But to be able to still play them at such a high level, although all of those characters are really tough too. So to know how to do that and be a difference maker in the team fights, very, very big.
I feel like the big pick he needs to pull out now is the Bastion. Some win, some just get some ridiculous clips on that. Like, we've seen a little bit of the Bastion, of course, but I'm not sure we're going to see him here. Maybe not.
Well, we saw Roadhog, so.
Yeah, did it work? Yeah, kind of. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, the Seoul Dynasty, now, they will end up moving on. Their Wednesday match is going to be played against the Dallas Fuel, who also look exceptional in this meta. The road has not ended here yet, Rose, for the Florida Mayhem. They will end up going down to the losers bracket.
Yeah, we are playing that double elimination bracket, so Florida still have another chance, as do our teams that did take an L yesterday. But we'll have more of those matches coming up for you later. Yeah,
they actually played the Atlanta Reign tomorrow, so a big rematch there for the Florida Mayhem. But we're going to jump to a quick break. The desk is going to break this down a little bit more. And after this, well, we still got 2 more bangers coming at you. So stick around.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Butterfinger. Crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery. No one lays a finger on your Butterfinger.
Welcome again to our game break. Zoe here, joined by Reinforce, and we now have Smurf from the Seoul Dynasty joining us for a quick chat after their first victory here in the 2022 playoffs. So, of course, congratulations to you and your team, but let's talk shop. Unlike all the other top-seeded teams, you did not get to choose your opponents today. How confident were you heading into your match against the Florida Mayhem after watching them play on day one?
다른 상위 시드 팀들과 다르게 서울 다이내스티는 상대방을 선택하지 못하였는데 첫날 플로리다 메인 경기를 보시고 어떤 마음가짐으로 경기에 임하셨는지 궁금합니다.
저희가 선택하지는 못했지만 어떻게 됐든 저희가 4위 시드로 이제 전날에 메인 경기를 보고 분석할 수 있었기 때문에 좀 자신감 있게 했던 것 같습니다.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to pick our opponents, but luckily we still were in the top 4 seeds, so we were able to watch Florida Mayhem's match yesterday. So we were able to analyze their plays and then head into the match with some confidence.
Yeah, and another key part of confidence, of course, is playing a hero that you like so much, and it's good to see Smurf back on the Winston pick as well. So I'd like to ask Smurf, after having seen some teams play this meta, we've seen some teams be very aggressive with the Winston, like someone, for example, here on Florida Mayhem, but also Winstons that are a bit more reactive in their playstyle. Which playstyle does Smurf favor himself? What does he think is the best playstyle for Winston?
저희가 이제 이 현 조합의 메타에서 다양한 윈스턴 사용법을 봤는데 스머프 선수는 어떻게 좀 공격적인 윈스턴 활용도를 좋아하시는지 아니면 좀 받아치는 수비적인 윈스턴 활용법을 좋아하시는지 여쭤보드립니다.
이게 상황에 따라 다른데 이제 상대방 컨디션이나 이제 궁 상황에 따라서 서로 번갈아가면서 공격적이든 수비적이든 할 수 있기 때문에 좀 그렇게 사용되는 것 같아요.
I think the playstyle is all depends on the situation. We have to consider opponents' ults and their health status. So I can play both aggressively and also reactively.
Which one does he prefer?
어떤 거를 조금 더 원하시나요?
공격적으로.
I like to play more aggressive style.
And that's what we like to see. Well, Smurf, thank you so much. Paul, thank you so much for helping us with the translation. Good luck to the Seoul Dynasty in the next few games. Can't wait to see more from you and the squad. But let's break down the action. 3-0 sweep for the Seoul Dynasty, a team which you picked to be winning it all just yesterday. After getting your first peek at what they can do in this meta, still confident with your pick?
I actually thought they looked better than I anticipated that they would, because I thought that this would be a pretty close matchup. We gave a lot of credit to the Florida Mayhem with someone's Winston play looking spectacular. Hydron on that Sojourn as well. But Seoul Dynasty, they didn't skip a beat. Much in large because of Smurf's Winston, of course. But also, I think that Profit on the Reaper, a big impact player, earned player of the match honors, of course, fits on that Sojourn. Perhaps the most underrated Sojourn we have in the entire tournament, being able to compete with some of the best Sojourns in the world, right? So Vindime as well. I'm just going to mention the entire roster at this point. But Vindime on the Lucio as well. Rookie main support coming into the league this season. And if you talk to other teams, if you talk to other coaches, they acknowledge that Vindime is one of the best main supports we have in the entire league. So Seoul Dynasty coming in as the number 4 seed here. I thought that this matchup would be a bit rocky considering how good the Florida Mayhem has looked. But 3-0, that is a big statement for the Seoul Dynasty and very telling for the rest of this tournament.
Well, starting off in this series, the Mayhem on control and made it very competitive, fell off a little later in the series. Do you think there were any very obvious shortcomings from the Florida Mayhem team, or do you think they were just unfortunately outmatched by the Seoul Dynasty?
I think it comes down to a few different factors. For example, here on Junkertown, I mean, it was quite obvious that I think they were out-strategized by the Sigma composition coming in from the Seoul Dynasty when they played some Hanzo and some Widowmaker, for example. Here on third point, someone had to swap to the Roadhog. I speculate that that is because RuPaul was in the lineup as well to play some of these Sigma compositions to cater to that double flex support style. And that means you can't play Lucio anymore, right? You could put Sir Majed on that Lucio, but he's your dedicated Kiriko player. So they just weren't optimized on Junkertown. But on Eichenwalde, I think it came down to someone's aggressive Winston play and how they adapted, how Smurf adapted to that play.
Glad you're bringing it up because there is a particular...
What a coincidence!
What a coincidence! It's almost like we planned it. But yeah, there is a particular play on Eichenwalde which I would like you to break down because everyone at home, you know, you've seen those top Winstons being aggressive, being passive, pulling back at the right moments, going in at the right moments. Can you please break it down for us in the current meta, how to Winston?
Yeah, so I wanted to give a bit of an example of what to look out for in these matchups because it can look really messy. You have monkeys flying all over your screen and there's abilities, sound barriers, bubbles, everything going on. So here are some standalone examples that will give you a picture of what it looks like, the ebb and flow and fight momentum in these matchups. So if we go ahead and pull up this replay, it's going to be paused right here. And what we're going to see is someone, the White Winston from Florida Mayhem, diving into the Seoul Dynasty. So if we play this out, we can see that someone will be diving in here with this bubble very aggressively. And if we pause, we can now see that the entirety of the Seoul Dynasty, they're like, there's a monkey in our team, we need to deal with it. So Prophet on the Reaper is going to turn, Fitz on the Sojourn is going to turn, and that means for Florida Mayhem, no one is looking at Hydron and Checkmate. So this is creating space for your team. You're creating space for your damage players to not be contested because they're dealing with someone. Now, if we go ahead and play this out, you can see that Surmagen on the Kiriko is going to dive in, pop that bell, make sure that someone stays alive, and they're dropping solo. This is where Florida should have found a pick, but they didn't. So if we go ahead and pause it right here, we can see that Seoul Dynasty, they recognize that these abilities have been used. There is no bell up, there's no Kiriko Sutsu up for the Florida Mayhem. We're gonna use this time to capitalize, so if we go ahead and play it out, Seoul Dynasty, they're pushing aggressive. They are going to use this fight momentum into their own advantage and take space onto the point. Smurf, he dives in now. This is Seoul Dynasty time to capitalize. They're going to end up picking off Checkmate from the Florida Mayhem because of this result. Now, Florida Mayhem, they're on their back foot. So if we go ahead and pause it here, the Seoul Dynasty, they acknowledge we need to win this fight before ultimates come online. You can see Anamo, Surmajed's ultimate charge up in Florida Mayhem's top left corner. It's almost at 100%. It's at 95 right now. Seoul Dynasty, they need to use this man advantage before those ultimates come online. So they dive in, we can go ahead and play it out, and you'll see that Smurf is dropping the Winston for the Seoul Dynasty, and it's because they're trying to go aggressive here. Now the ultimates do come online, the sound barrier comes out from Anamo, and the Kitsune Rush from Surmajet, of course. And this is going to be enough for Florida Mayhem to win this fight. So you can see the ebb and flow with these Winstons going aggressive first, then disengaging and Smurf capitalizing, and then Florida Mayhem disengaging themselves to end that fight, and then going back in with the ultimate. So it's very much an ebb and flow. It goes back and forth into either team's advantage. And so this is really what you need to look out for. When it comes to the Winstons, who is peeling backwards and who's going aggressive and who has momentum in these fights. And that's going to tell you what team you're perhaps rooting for to stay alive and what team you're hoping gets the frags.
You make it sound so simple, but in reality, that's not how it looks like when I'm playing. So, yeah, no,
Look,
but I'm
not top 500 anymore either. I'm not that good anymore. I just tell it all.
You get paid to talk about it, and you're doing a darn well job at that. So I just felt very educated. Thank you so much, Reinforce. We are now looking ahead to our next match, San Francisco Shock and Houston Outlaws. Heading into that, I'm not quite sure what to expect from the San Francisco Shock. We haven't seen them in the meta, so this is going to be our first glance at them. Houston already played yesterday, and of course, we're also dominant in their very performance with a 3-0 sweep. So let's take a look at Leveling Up presented by Butterfinger. Who do you want to see us taking us to the next level?
Well, for the next level in this very matchup, I mean, I would like to say that it's Dante with the Road Dogg. But I feel like we have to go the way of Sojourns in this one, and it's for good reason as well. There are two fantastic Sojourn players. Dare I say top 3 Sojourns in the entire league. Proper, statistically, paves the way for so many of these Sojourns. You can see on your screen 11.2 final blows per 10 minutes in the Countdown Cup and 8,000 damage per 10 minutes. That is fantastic numbers. Merit, though, a rookie for the Houston Outlaws. He has made his name playing Sojourn throughout the entire season. 10 final blows per 10 minutes. He's no slouch either. 6.2 charge shot kills per 10 minutes. So you can see that these are two extremely proficient Sojourn players. Those are very high numbers on both sides. So when I see the Houston Outlaws go up against the San Francisco Shock, we can talk about the tanks all we want. At the end of the day, though, the win condition for the Houston Outlaws is Merit needs to step up and take charge of that Sojourn duo.
I am so excited to see that head-to-head coming to a blow. Now let's take a look at our Preds for this one.